Hi my friend, it's Pat Sloan here, and today we are going to talk happy everything, the sew along that is. I have got the layout ready with its directions and the supply list, and today I'm going to talk all about how to get fabric together for this sew along, because it is going to be something that is for me very fun. I have not decided on my fabric, and that is what we're going to talk about today, is all the different ways and options you can look at doing this and how you can pull your fabric together. So this is coming from my holiday celebrations book, and we are going to be taking blocks from here and putting it in the layout I'm about to show you. There will also be a few extra blocks that I'm going to give you just to spice it up and make it a little bit more fun. So this is the layout. Ta-da! It is asymmetrical, 61 by 71. And the whole pattern is already out there. You can go download it. Got a bunch of pages for going through everything. And I tell you on the parts of the layout where blocks are coming from in the book. So like the heart is a heart block from the book. You know, carrots are from the book. And that is what will be in those spots, plus the few extra where it says piece block. And I might change things up a little bit somewhere along the way on them. That'll be, you know, you'll see when it happens. So fabric. You could go a lot of different ways, of course, you know, and using fabric you love is always, I think, the most important thing to do. But one of the deals with asymmetrical quilts, and ones where you might want to put fabric in places that relate to what the theme is, like carrots, you might want orange carrots. You might want a red or a pink heart versus like a green or a blue heart, something like that. There's a pumpkin, also you might want orange, or you can have white pumpkins, you know. You could also have green pumpkins. But if you wanted, you know, if you're thinking to yourself, oh, I want to make the items that are more like the holiday, you know, in those sort of holiday colors, then your borders and your border and your sashing are what is going to pull this whole quilt together for you and make it hold tight with all those different types of fabrics in there. So let me give you an example. I'm going to show you two pictures here of quilts of mine that were done many moons ago in a very you know, fun sort of improvisational style. So first is this quilt here. It's a Christmas quilt, and tell me what this color this quilt looks. What color is it to you? It's red, right? The quilt looks like a red quilt. It's not a trick question, but the prints inside of each of those crazy log cabins are all different colors. There's red, there's blue, there's white and brown and black. I mean, there's just, but the setting is predominantly red, heavy red. Now there's black in that setting, there's dark green, there's some dark purples, but predominantly it's red. And that is what makes the centers not compete or fight each other. They all come together because you're using a unifying color scheme to hold that together. So let me show you another one that has even more crazy stuff. So this is the second one. And what color does this one look? Most people feel it looks green. These blocks in the middle were all done during a block of the month with G Street Fabrics, which is located in Maryland. We used to have some in Virginia, and it was done many, like, you know, 30 years ago or something. And you would go every month and you get the block. Well, when we did this, my friend and I we decided, you know, we would make the block every month. We would just do it no matter what. It was our priority, once a month, and we did. And I went in with absolutely no color scheme or no thought process. What I did is decided that, oh, if I had a fabric I liked, like there's jelly bean fabric, there is seashore fabric, I have pumpkins and schoolhouse fabric. It's just, there's a St. Bernard dog. There's just crazy stuff. So when I had all this mess of blocks that had no rhyme or reason, did not go together at all, I thought, well, I'm going to go back to that process of using the setting to pull it all together. And in this case, I used green. So the green setting pulls all of that together. And I want you to think about doing that for Happy Everything if you want to use fabrics in the middle that are very, very different from each other. So let me just show you some fabric families, things that you could think about, and ways you could approach this. I'm going to go from something fairly simple to two of the options I'm thinking about that are a little bit more work to put together because they're not like from a fabric line. So first of all, if you want to do your quilt just classic, you could do it like mine was there in reds. So you could always have just a lot of reds. And you know, here's like a whole bundle of reds. If you did all of these reds and then your centers were other things, the reds would help pull it all together. Or you could just do the whole quilt like this. You know, the whole thing. You would have maybe red carrots, you know, like that kind of a thing. Now that isn't going to appeal to everybody. The same difference would be doing this as blue. You could do blue and white. And we've seen lovely quilts. I've seen quilts with like blue tulips, and you know, it's just gorgeous. So that's an option. Here is another line. I'm going to put this down here now. I'm going to get serious now. Gotta get serious. This is called Mill Creek. It's a line that's been out there for a little while from Jan Paytek. It's got some purples in it. Sorry, I got some allergies going on. Something's floating around in the air out there. So you have purples and these greens, lots of greens, and you know, light backgrounds and browns. So that would be a great place to work from. You know, a single fabric collection is always really useful because that way you're you know, all kind of coordinated already. These things all sort of blend together and move across the fabrics. Now let's look at what's behind me. I changed the quilt. Somebody asked me if I was going to change the quilt. Actually, I think they told me I needed to change the quilt. So I did. This is my Secret Garden, which was a block of the month from many years ago. But I wanted to show it to you because here is taking your border fabric. So if I use that border fabric, this is one fabric line. It was one of my collections. But I used a border fabric and as the goal here. So I have turquoise and red and green in the flowers of the border, and then added the navy. So pretty much everything is in those colors. Now you have, with this pattern, you can also pick a border fabric and then just move from there. You know, have things that go with it. So I'm going to show you, like many of you are familiar with French General fabric. So here I have 2 handfuls of French General fabric, and their fabric always goes together. It's always going to have the same sort of feel. It is very cohesive when you start working with it. They work together across lines. So I have some burgundies, some lights, there's some blues. I have more French General. One of my splendid samplers, I'm using French General. Here's grays, this whole big group of grays. A lovely green, that's just some other line. And then if I did this like French General, I would have this really pretty yellow fabric. I'd look for some more yellows so that would, you know, pull that in. But that would be a fabulous quilt. This quilt would just be amazing in French General. It is one that I think about. You know, I think, oh, that would be a really nice one. Okay, there's more. I have more. Now, if you're familiar with the fabric designer Tilda, she's also a book author. Her fabrics also have that feel. I think they actually feel a little bit like Liberty of London. So, you know, you could use, like, look at this. And her fabrics also work together. They tend to be somewhat different line to line, but they do work together. So here you can see, like if I wanted to use Tilda fabric, now I would need to get a border and sort of help pull that together. I was looking out there and there's a fabric, well, it's kind of like this but with a dark background, which would be kind of neat for a border, or you know, there's bigger things. But there is Tilda's fabric, and you can just see it laying here. It all works really nicely together. Another fabric designer I love, which I've been using quite a bit lately, is Fig Tree. And so here is, I've got a whole basket. These are, I think, 2 different fabric lines from Joanna Figueroa. And these are also just, look at that. Look how cute that is. You know, so I could be going through here and getting, you know, just the peaches and the tans like I see here. Maybe throw in some aqua. She's also got these reddy pinks. Those are always super nice. So her fabrics work really well. I think there's actually 2 lines in here. I may have said that. Chantilly lace was one of them, but I don't have the card for the other. But those fabrics would look pretty nice, would look very nice actually. They would be very soft. You know, if you did a fabrics like these, with Joanna's Fig Tree, they would be super soft. Now, they're a little bit different than the ones I'm doing for Summer Soiree. That's also her fabric line, which was more 30s inspired, the shirt, you know, like shirtings. So these are her traditional style. All right, those are all fabrics that are things people, you know, designed to put together. They're designers who their fabric lines work very well together, one to the next, so that if you have one line of Joanna's, it'll work into the next one really nicely. Let me show you an option I've been thinking about, which I don't know. It would be super cool. I'm really, really thinking about this. I've not done a yellow and gray quilt. So let me show you a few pieces of fabric I've collected over time. These last 2 here are the ones that I told you will take a little bit more pulling the fabrics together because they're not a collection or one designer. Both of those options, it's a little easier to pull together. Okay, I have saved some of these. I believe this is an old Amy Butler fabric. I have saved this forever. Now these are big scale prints, but like something like that could be a border, or like this. Which I think this might have been a Joel Dewberry. Some of these were his line. If you're familiar with those designers. No, this is also Amy. That's also Amy. And that would be also a great border. I have plenty of that one for a border. And then here's more yellow. See, I collected up all this yellow and gray. Look at this. Look at that. Look how exciting all of that is. There isn't much other color, just pretty much shades of gray and then shades of yellow. But I also had collected these few pieces. This one I know is Anna Marie Horner from years ago. May have been her first fabric line or so. And that has teal popped into it. So that would mean teal would work really good popped in with all of these colors. And then here's one that has teal in it. Look at that, just that little pops of teal. Now here's gray and yellow, but with sort of raspberry pink. I had bought this butterfly print because I just loved it. I thought it was so cool. Of course, I don't have enough for a border. And then this was another random line from somewhere. What was that? A Bonnie and Camille Sunday Stroll. So there's also that dark gray with a little tiny, with the raspberry and a little bit of aqua. There's a little bit of aqua in that one too. So there's 2 different colorways. You know, I wouldn't put the pink and the teal necessarily, not unless the pink, if I did teal, then I would maybe put little dots of pink, not a whole lot. Now the last one is taking some of my fabrics that I've collected. Well, I collected a whole bunch of really, see my picnic basket? This has all of my old cotton and steel fabrics. And what's interesting here is I have them grouped in kind of groupings. There's sort of this very intense orangey red, and there's just a whole bunch of stuff in this orangey red. And then I've got this fabulous green. Look at this greens. And they continue to do these colors under Ruby Society, so I could get more, like I need more, but I could get more. Then there's also pinks and navies, you know, blues and navies. So working this grouping and playing maybe with a lot of these fun fabrics would be another way that I could work. It is options. Options, options. And that's the part now that I'm stuck on, because I actually love every single one of these that I showed you. Not, you know, I pulled them because I love them, and I think that any of them would work fabulous. So my thought is that between now and when we start this sew along on October 4th for the Happy Everything, a few more times I will pull out and start to narrow down. Like I'll eliminate a couple, and then I'll take what's left and bring them on and show you sort of working through how it might work, maybe doing a little bit of auditioning with the fabric, laying it out to see how that might play. I Love to Make Quilts, there is a project page for Happy Everything where I will put this video, so if you want to watch it again, plus I have a link to some of these designers' lines, so that if you want to take a look at what they have because it looked interesting to you. All right, my friend, I love you. Mwah. Have a good day.